Welcome back, Misfits. It's your boy Cristo coming at you live once again. As always, I got my boy.
What's going on, guys? It is July 27th, 2023, and we are episode Deuce 22, and it's me, Rocky Raccoon. What is going on, man? It is Thirsty Thursday, if you guys recall, we would try a new drink if someone commented on it, and you know what? Christopher did just that.
I found somebody in the comments. We picked you out. You know who you are. We got it was called a Simply Lemonade Sprite with some
pour over
some Patron. But we got some Clipto Lemonade with Sprite with Patron. So we're going to give this a shot.
We're going to give it a shot.
Shout out to y'all. I don't know if we'll keep doing this every single episode, but we'll try something like this every single episode.
We'll try something. Why don't you just
give the people what they want and what they ask for?
Throw a comment down there and
tell him to shave his beard. He might do it. Who knows, man?
Yeah, you never know. I just want to take a little shout out to, let's see, who was this lucky one here? Oh, we actually had one for a frozen blackberry margarita.
Yeah, that was the second one, but I got the first one. See?
All right, there we go. Yep. User at Curariti234, blueberry, simply lemonade, and Sprite over ice.
That's what we got.
All right, man.
Clipto lemonade.
This is to you, Kira.
Over ice.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Cheers. Cheers, man. Cheers,
Cheers, cheers. Let's see. Just kidding. That's schmacking. Super good.
Yep, refreshing on a hot Thursday.
I taste little hints of blue dye 40. Not to get confused with red dye 40. Let's not get confused around here, but
bro, that's some government conspiracy stuff we're talking about right there. That red dye 40, making children or making
children angry.
Or making the body in a different way or something. But
making pancakes. Let's
just jump right into this one because I'm ready to talk about this one. So recently, the past couple of days, the government and Congress has put together what would you call it? Congressional hearing, I think they called it or something.
Yeah.
And so they got they had like this former
Air Force guy,
former military. Yeah, we'll put asset, and they were kind of asking him, basic questions like, do we have extraterrestrial crafts? Are there extraterrestrials on the Earth, right? Mm-hmm. And so you guys can look up you guys can look this up because it's all over the internet right now because it's like the third day that this has happened. But he was saying, I can't directly tell you that.
In a public setting, yeah.
So she asked the person in a different way, and he's like, "Yeah, we do."
He's
like,
He was like, "Have you recovered any bodies, extraterrestrial bodies,
non-human?"
And he's like, "Yes, biological life forms were recovered. Were recovered."
And the article, and it says like it's been happening for decades. They have multiple.
Oh yeah,
multiple ships.
Yeah,
they have multiple humanoid bodies or something like that, And then I was talking
David Grush, I think was his name.
Yeah,
David Grush.
Yeah.
14 years as an intelligence officer.
So
in the Air Force.
Yeah. So I mean, those credentials right there alone should boost his credibility. But then again, a lot of people have been talking about this for years, man, and a lot of people have been scrutinized.
Oh yeah.
Or shunned or pushed to the back burner. Things like that.
Gotten threats.
Supposedly Men in Black kind of people.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Black guys in suits, but
guys in black suits.
Guys in black suits, rolling around, mobbing them up and snatching them up and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that real quick because that's been something on the back of my mind, and we've always talked about like ancient civilizations in the past couple episodes, like mounds and things like that. So it's kind of crazy, man, that the government is. Do you remember that time where they dressed that guy in the alien suit and they're all walking him out to the press and they took pictures of him? They're like, "Yeah, this is the alien from Roswell," making fun of it, making a big old comedy thing out of it. Mm-hmm. That was like. When was that? 60s, 70s maybe? I don't know.
Before I was born.
Was it?
I think so. Early 90s, I want to say. I want to say early 90s.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. If you guys know what we're talking about, let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, so like a lot of people are saying these are guys. So there was 3 people out there, and so back to the UFO debriefing hearing, whatever you want to call it. There's 3 people all giving their testimony. And so a lot of people are saying that's just it, is only their testimony. There's not really hard proof evidence that these things happen. These guys are just saying these things.
Well,
so what do you think about that?
So then she also said, like, do you have hard evidence or do you have proof of this? And he was saying, I do, but I can't show you in a public setting. You know what I mean?
So do you think that, after the hearing, they had some backdoor action showing them what's up?
Who knows, man? Who knows?
Know what I mean?
Who knows?
So when he says not in a public setting,
maybe not with all the cameras and people around, even though it's
right.
I think
that's what we want, though. I
think it's gonna be like the Kennedy files. Like the Kennedy files are finally slowly being released, and
they're all just like blackbarred.
Some of the
they're like,
I bet you
he was in a car. Black bar, black bar, black bar, black bar, black bar, black bar.
Or what about some of those NASA images? Like you can tell, like there's definitely
CGI?
Pixelated things in there, so it looks like it's airbrushed out or something like that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Like
Some
they try to edit. Yeah.
That kind of raises an eyebrow too on speculation on things like why would they do that, or what are they hiding, or why are they hiding it, or maybe they're just doing it because they don't want to have like a mass panic epidemic. Or
I was just going to ask you that. Do you so on that topic of mass panic? So this is huge. Government just released that I would say aliens are real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you expect a bigger uproar when they had this hearing? Like people, going live and saying like aliens are real, I knew it, and then like people mobbing the streets and stuff like this. You know what I mean?
So they knew this hearing was happening, and I follow a whole bunch of people on Twitter. I don't know what we're going to be calling Twitter now, right? It's called X now, right?
What?
Elon Musk changed the name of the brand. It's not a bird no more. It's an X.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Where you been, man? Open your eyes. Anyways, I've been following a lot of people on the X or Twitter X or something. And
X-Files. Go ahead.
I like that. And they were, camped out at the site, like 5 a.m. They're all excited. This is, decades in the making of like the ancient alien people. I can't forget that guy with the crazy hair. He's always a meme everywhere.
Oh yeah,
But he was like going live about things like this, and and his colleagues and stuff like that, and a lot of people I follow and stuff like that. I should, shout them out and remember their at names and stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying, though, man. There's a lot of people out there like happy that this is going on. This is a huge monumental footstep in the direction of actually, discovering that aliens are real, man. Like you said, the government said it's real. So
do you think that there's going to be more and more stuff released over time, like more video evidence, more like you can take a tour of Roswell?
Yeah. So here's the thing about that is like I've been seeing a whole bunch of more activity on the phones, showing me all kinds of videos and stuff like that.
Right.
You just got to do your research, because now I think everybody's wanting to get that video. Even though if it's
like
fake
you've
or
seen
not,
a UFO,
you know what I mean?
like
They
check
want to
this
go
out.
like viral on this video,
Right? Even if it's like a balloon in there, like no, dude, that is a UFO. I'm like, it's because you're taking it on a 8-bit Nikon from freaking 2003.
2005?
Yeah, that's why you can't see. It's obviously a balloon.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
Just like those kids, and you remember how those that cop had that we talked about it in the previous podcast where we saw that orb on the police's security camera.
Oh yeah.
And the guy say it was crashing in his backyard, but like he took video footage of it and it was all pixelated, and then we found out it wasn't true.
Right. So
you know what I mean?
think
so people are probably getting ready to jump out at that real quick.
Sure. I think there's going to be probably a lot more videos surfacing, and probably a vast majority of them are probably going to be fake, because a lot of people are going to want that attention. Like, oh, I saw this back in 97, but I want something that is just no denying. You know what I mean? Like, I think one of the, let's call him UFO whistleblowers that was given his testimony at this briefing was one of the guys that saw the Tic Tac UFO. And if you guys aren't familiar with that
was the Air Force guy.
Was that the Air Force guy? I thought that was the older guy. Okay,
I think he was sitting on the right. Yeah, he was the older guy.
The older guy. I think there was multiple military guys there. Yeah, so the older gentleman was the one that witnessed
and this
the Tic Tac in the I don't know what plan they were in, but you guys can
you know
go
what? Talk
watch
about
that.
the TikTok forum. Okay, so we're on that topic. So the guy, what was his name?
David.
David was saying that he has evidence of the. I guess you can call them Tic Tacs, but he was saying they were. There was a cube inside a sapphire. He was saying
Dark gray or black cubes.
Yeah. And it was enclosed in that sapphire. So what they're speculating is something to do with that sapphire, but there's like something else in the cube that's kind of like something else that's
like
going on.
Like maintaining their, let's call it their atmosphere.
So what I'm thinking it is, if it's such kind of really small, I'm thinking it's like a drone. You know how we have those drones? I feel like those what those are, because there's a whole bunch of old, what do you call them, paintings or old drawings of like saints or ancient people holding orbs in their hand. I think you have a picture of Jesus holding some kind of orb in his hand. Just all kinds of orbs out there, you know, you know.
And there's paintings out there that clearly show like UFOs in the background, but you wouldn't normally like look in the background with these certain paintings, but. If I can find them, I'll show them, but I doubt I can. But if I can, I'll throw them up. There's that
one, I think, with George Washington, where he's in that painting in the back. There's that thing. I think that's what you're talking about too, right?
Yeah. And so, I mean, they've been coming out saying that they've seen like football field, like huge red rectangle UAPs. Is that what they're called?
Yeah. Now they call them UAPs, UFOs, unidentified
aerial phenomenon. Yeah, UAPs. Yeah. So the size of a football field. UAP.
Well, that goes way back in the day where some of those guys were describing cigar-shaped UFOs.
Oh, the cigar. That's another huge one.
Saying?
Like really known one out there is the cigar-shaped one. I think that was another Air Force pilot that saw that one.
Yeah. And then talking to another guy at work, we were talking about the Phoenix Lights and stuff like that, how like the government or the governor of Arizona, he was saying denied it all.
He's like, it's hot out here.
Denied it all. And then when he retired, he's like, I drove down there and seen those lights with myself. I was around 30 other people. You know what I mean? So there was definitely some, you know, hush hush about this stuff back in the day.
Have you heard about the supposed interview that they had with this extraterrestrial?
Was it the gray?
They called them grays, but then later they started calling them ambassadors. Well, no, they called them grays, and they said that they were putting them in ambassador suites. Who knows what those suites really were, but supposedly, you know, and I think it's out there. The video's out there. I've seen it, you know, when YouTube was first a thing, so it's like when you see it, you're like, that's definitely fake. But when they come on here, they're like, I don't know
the video you're talking about.
This thing's pretty real. And the things, and the extraterrestrial doesn't talk at all, but you see like, there's literally just like a line of people, one after the other, that go up there and they have like their flashlights in their eyes. And
well, here's the thing about that. We talked about Moment of Contact, right? We watched it together.
Yes.
In Denver at their apartment. And the thing is, where are those documents? Where are those photos at? Because dude was saying that, you know, they carried this alien to a hospital. It's got x-rays. One guy that was carrying it, like we talked before, passed away with like infectious disease or something like that. Infected,
like we would know it as like a staph infection, something that just like shut down his whole body.
Because he physically picked up this alien, like we talked about and stuff like that. So I want to see those. You know, now that it's public, now that we're out, you know, things like this will happen. So
So do you think this is probably one of the other biggest debates out there? Is that okay? So these people came out and said that aliens are real. What else is going on in the world right now? Is this just a distraction? Which I don't know. Like I wholeheartedly think they're coming out with this stuff to like let us know, like slowly give it out, like feed it to the public. This is real, but so, I don't think they're getting the response that they're looking for from the public. You know what I mean?
I think so. The only response I think they're getting to or something is I think they're getting attention of these things because like before nuclear, not that much activity. After nuclear, you see all this activity. So I read a couple things like they're kind of monitoring us, make sure we don't blow ourselves up or anything like that. And then you see kind of Russian. I think it was over at Russia or in Korea. I can't remember where it was at, but you saw this orb go into like this. nuclear plant or something, and then pop out, and then a couple of days reports saying like it got dismantled or something like that. This is old. This is like 2011.
So do you think that they're? So would you say that they're looking out for us, or would you just say hey, we don't really care about you, but if you have a nuclear war, like all the resources here, we're not going to be able to use.
Yeah.
Or maybe they I don't know. It's far fetched, but maybe they don't know the type of nuclear fission that we use. Like maybe they use like a different power source.
Well, see, and
we use like a lot of nuclear fission power, stuff like that,
Yeah, there's people that agree with you on that kind of way. That's why they're saying that's why there's more activity after we hit the
Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Nagasaki?
So I think like that new movie coming out.
I know exactly
Oppenheimer.
What you're talking about. Yeah, Oppenheimer.
So I think that has something to do with like alien activity, because when that happened, that was like the first nuclear bomb that happened, right?
Yeah.
Or relatively close.
Yeah, besides the ones that they tested, yeah.
Yeah. So I think once that started happening, that's when you start seeing more UFOs, UAPs.
UAPs,
that's when you start seeing that kind of stuff. And there's people out there that say the same thing you said, because I was, watching the Rogan podcast, and he had one of those guys on there saying the same exact thing you were saying. Yeah. There's things out there preventing this and making sure that we don't blow ourselves up because we're idiots.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna come down. I don't think. I bet you they're out there, but I'm speculating because Hollywood maybe got in my brain a little bit. But I don't think they're going to come to Earth, invade us, and use us as maybe they did. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they use us as gold. I think a lot of people said they spliced our DNA to mine all the gold in the world. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a lot of speculation on that.
A whole bunch of things going on.
So a lot of people say that they need gold because like it's
the most valuable material around the universe.
No, they say that it like there's like a theory out there that if our atmosphere depleted, the way that we could protect ourselves from the sun's heat is to literally like crush up gold particles, because it's the most reflective, I think, in the world, and then suspend it in our atmosphere or suspend it in space around the world, so like that
an
way,
ozone or something.
Yeah, it'd be like an artificial atmosphere, and it would shield us from all like the harsh,
radiation or something,
all that stuff. And
like
so,
that.
A lot of people are saying like, yeah, that's what they're coming here for, because we are
Who
known
knows,
for gold.
Man? I think
like you look back in history, there's literally we like worship gold. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I mean, to this day, that's why I said that I think they spliced our DNA. But that's speculation. Who knows, man? But getting in this stuff, man, rattles my brain a lot.
And then to rattle it even more. So speaking of biological entities, let's call them that. A lot of people are saying that instead of coming from outer space, it's a different dimension that they're coming from. You know what I mean? So we're getting into like Marvel, like Endgame kind of stuff.
So I was talking to Elise about this.
Are aliens us? Are we the aliens?
Yeah, that's
just
it.
Like in another dimension.
Okay, so I was talking to Elise about this, right? We were talking about. I was talking about the government releasing all this stuff like that, and she was talking about like the government discovering that we can alter our minds to see another dimension, and that's the reason why they shut the LSD, things like that down, because the government has said there's different dimensions out there, and they're just like you out there. The government says this.
Well, science. I think science proved it, where with light particles and stuff. So there's another dimension.
That's why they classify drugs a different way, so they don't expose our third eye too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. And then, that comes to disclosure. UFOs come to disclosure. So what's really out there? You know what I mean? Yeah, I think people had it right back in the day, man. I think they're afraid. I think the government is afraid for us to go back to living the way we were a long time ago. Some people don't want to go that way. I personally want to go that way. You know what I mean? Just walking around, farming,
Yeah, no, I get it.
But we'll never go back to that. That'll never happen ever again.
No. So, like, a lot of, like, what I'm thinking is, like, when this came out, like, they're like, UAPs, UFOs, like, they're real. Aliens are real. And a lot of people like, what's more real than that? My mortgage. My electric bill. Like, that's cool that those things exist, but I'm just out here trying to live still.
Yeah, I think
the day you tell me that, like, I can just survive off-grid, because off-grid living would be pretty crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that off-grid, but, talk about off-grid. Okay, we're going to talk about this off-grid kind of thing real quick.
All right.
It's a lot difficult to live off-grid. You got to have a lot of knowledge and sustainability.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't just go out there and just think you're getting lit off the land. You know, there's different seasons, there's different weathers, there's different kind of, you know, foods you're supposed to eat, not eat, what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, talk about this off-grid topic. We were talking about some hikers that were found in Colorado the other day.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Gunnison. I think it was like Gold Creek or something.
Gold
like that.
Creek Camp, something like that. Yeah.
So a couple days later, we find out that their names have been released. So there was 2 females and 1 male, 42, 41, and 14. If you guys want to look up their names, you can look up the article and stuff like that. I just really don't want to talk about their names and things like that.
One thing is that one was a mother and a son.
Yes.
That's just a big part, you know.
So they found these, I call them like mummified bodies because that's what the article says. But they were remains of these bodies.
Right.
And their families were saying that they were willingly to go out there to go live off the grid.
Yeah, that's what you're telling me. That is wild. That's a huge jump. I mean, like you were saying, you have to have experience and knowledge, especially if you're trying to live off grid in Colorado. It's one thing to maybe try to live off grid in like Florida. You know what I mean? Like in like a more climate friendly,
climate seasonal place.
Right, exactly like that.
Because we change seasons out every few months, just like we change seasons. You know what I mean? People know what I'm
4
talking
seasons.
About.
Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I mean, if you're not equipped with, I think that's what they said. They weren't equipped with anything much.
The one thing that I saw is that they did notify the family. And when they reached out to the family, they're like, did you know about this? And I'm like, well, yeah, they told us they were going to live off grid. They didn't tell us where they were going. Yes. And then we just, thought that they knew what they were getting themselves into. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's not like when you go off grid living, you're not just going to take a backpack with pants and a jacket and an extra pair of socks. You know what I mean? That's not going to.
And the crazy thing is like, I think the article said they were there last July.
Yeah. I mean, so I think they obviously made it through one winter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But the thing is, they were in tents and stuff, man.
Yeah. So that's
crazy.
That is crazy.
Like, the winter's coming, and in Colorado it's going to be harsh up in those high mountains, man. Down here in the lowlands, it doesn't get as rough as it is in those high mountains. But once you get up in those Rocky Mountains,
it's unforgiving.
Bro, you're
unforgiving.
Negative degrees up there, man.
Yeah. So it's and that's not including the wind
chill.
You know what I mean? Not including that you slip into a frozen lake and you don't have any extra clothes.
Yeah.
Not thinking that you can't find any type of small game, big game. You can't forage for food because you can't dig through the snow because you don't have any tools to dig through the snow.
Yeah.
So like you were saying, you have to account for every single little thing.
I mean, if you watch the Discovery Channel and watch Naked and Afraid or Alone, I mean, those guys tap out within the first couple weeks because they can't handle it. Naked and Afraid or Being Alone. Naked and Afraid, you have a couple. Being Alone is you're actually alone in an isolated place, but it's still things you have to overcome and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. Crazy,
I mean, I wish it would have went different for them. You know what I mean? I really do. But for anyone out there that wants to live that kind of lifestyle, kudos to you. Just be smart, prepared, and ready for any type of obstacle you may face. You know what I'm saying? Be aware. Again, you'll hear that a lot in our podcast. Be aware.
Situational awareness. And then there was talk about situational awareness. There was this 2 sheriff's officers. I can't remember the county, but it was in Colorado. I want to say it was in Monument or something.
I didn't. Tell me about this. I didn't hear about this.
I was like up north, maybe. I don't know if it was like Gunnison or something. I don't know. 2 state patrol. I think there was 1 state patrol, highway patrol, and then 1 sheriff. They were at a routine traffic stop or a traffic stop. I seen the video, so I can't. And then this guy crashed into the squad car or the guy that pulled over the car, and then the sheriff had to jump off a bridge, and the bridge was like 30 feet to the ground, dude, to save his life. There's a video on it. I was like, holy cow, man. So you'll see this car come in, hit the squad car or the guy's car. I can't remember what it was because it was so recent. And then you see the guy like jump over the edge, not literally jump, but he kind of like sidestepped over to save his life or get crushed by a car, dude.
That's quick thinking.
Yeah,
that's thinking on your feet.
Situational awareness, people.
That's thinking on your feet, man.
You know, so if he wasn't being aware, you know where you'd be.
And so that's a good police officer, you know, doing that.
Tell me about a bad police officer.
I mean, I'm not talking about bad police officer. All police officers are good, but back to situational awareness.
All police officers are good, even though they get a bad rep. It's just, you know, you can't judge that 5% of bad police officers to the 95% of good police officers.
So, yeah. So speaking of this, Ohio police officer.
Ohio.
Ohio police officer. The K-9 unit came up for a disturbance. They had this guy in handcuffs, right? So K-9 unit gets there, and I think I showed you this video. You see the video. The guy's literally in the corner over here with his hands over his head.
On the ground.
Blatantly surrendering, okay?
Yeah.
K-9 unit gets out. Dog goes up to the police officers, right? And, you know, just doing its own thing. And then the owner, the handler, let's call him, just goes, "What are you doing? Get him!" And then you hear the guy in the background. I don't know if it was a sergeant or one police officer was like, "Don't do it. Don't stick that dog on him. Don't stick that dog on him." And then, what do you know?
That is crazy,
Six them on him. And you can hear this video. I mean, he's just screaming.
That is
in
crazy,
the background, screaming. And I mean, I don't know what is up with these Ohio police officers, because on another note, we talk about some pretty random stuff, but and another thing, Ohio police officers, another runaway emu. Like, come on, his name was Bird. But you know, they were wrangling him around, finally caught him. But like, come on, man, what's going on with these?
This guy so the K-9 officer let this dog go, but that's like lawsuit waiting to happen?
Oh, for real? And I hope nothing happens to the dog. It's not the dog's fault. The dog got that command to do that.
Well, I hope the dog gets suspended without pay.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will.
Euthanize him for a week or two. It's dead.
I don't want him. I don't want the dog. I don't want any harm to come to that dog.
Yeah, well, he should be reprimanded, dude. Put him in the pound.
Yeah, just for a couple days. Couple days. Only no food, just water.
You know who else? What else is going on out there, man?
You know, just
sports related
news? Heat waves, you know, scrambling my brains.
Sports related news, basketball. Spotlight goes to who?
In basketball?
Yeah.
The Denver Nuggets?
No, dude. James Bronny, right? Bronny James, where the hell his name is?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, in other news, LeBron James' son, Bronny James.
There you go.
Collapsed on the court. I think it was after game or during the game. But, yeah, collapsed of I want to say a heart attack, but it was
cardiac arrest.
Cardiac arrest. And thankfully, he's doing good. He recovered. But, man, that's a big hit for the basketball world out there.
Everyone's saying, "Oh, it's cardiac arrest and stuff like that." Well, he's a young man and doing things like that, high intensity sports. Mm-hmm. So a lot of professional athletes are talking about EPOs. You know, So I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe, you know, who knows?
Tell me about EPOs.
I don't know much about EPOs, you know, but there's people out there that can tell you much about them. I mean, they're just, you know, performance enhancements. You know.
I mean, yeah, I see it. I think there's ways to do that, and ways not to.
So like if you have to monitor your body. I was reading this article, you know, by Chael Sonnen, the great Chael Sonnen, former UFC champion, you know, the retirement. He was talking about, he's like, anybody who's a professional athlete knows this was about EPOs. You know what I mean? He's like, if you do too much of it, this is what you got to look out for. If you don't do you just got to maintain it. Yeah. And they were saying he wasn't maintaining his body in the way that he was doing. So
that's unfortunate.
But who knows?
Speculation. I hope it doesn't tarnish his reputation as a 4-star recruit.
Well, his dad did that already, so it don't matter.
Well, you know, you don't have to live up to your dad's legacy. Remember that.
Yeah. You never gonna make it.
But anyway, I think that's all.
You know what? I want to do one more thing real quick, man. I want to UFC. What is it? UFC 291 this weekend, right?
UFC 291. Tell me about UFC 291.
I just want to pull up the main card real quick. You got Poirier versus Gaethje 2.
Okay.
You got Dustin Poirier, Gaethje. You got Blachowicz versus Alex Pieta, Stephen Thompson, Michael Pieta, Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green, Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. So it's gonna be a banger, man. It's pay-per-view.
Watch out for that. Let us know if you want to do a reaction video. You know, we'll watch the fight and film at the same time. Let us know if you want something like that. But another news. I say another news, but we'll catch you guys later. We'll see you, Misfits.
Later, guys.